We're going to tie these four things together in just a moment, but number one is honesty. What we are talking about are the superpowers that you possess that a narcissist does not have. Now stop and think about this for a moment. Have you ever known a narcissist or somebody with strong narcissistic traits? Have you ever known a narcissist to be honest? It's like they go out of their way to be dishonest, even when they don't have to be. They thrive on dishonesty. Now that's odd. Why would they do that? Because if they can fool people, in their mind, their way of thinking, they think they are smarter than the person they fooled. And if they are smarter, they must be superior. And they like to think of themselves as superior. So they are intentionally, willfully dishonest. Even when they don't have to be dishonest, because it feeds their ego. You are giving them supply. That's what supply means. Feeding the narcissist ego. So they're dishonest. So they can control you. So they can feel superior. So you can be their supply. So what superpower do you have? Number one is you have honesty. And they don't. And when I say they don't, I mean that with some narcissists, I don't know about all of them, but with some narcissists, their narcissism is congenital. I mean, they've had this from birth or before birth. It's part of their brain. They are not only narcissists, but they are psychopaths. It's inherent. It's genetic. They can't not be dishonest. Does that make sense? They can't not be something. But honesty is something they just can't do. They can be dishonest, and they can't not be dishonest. There's a way to say they can't be honest, but they can't do it. It's just so much a part of who they are, their persona. They just can't do it. But you can. So one strong suit that you have that always defeats the narcissist is your honesty. Now, the interesting thing about honesty, and you've probably heard this before, is when you are honest, you don't have to constantly be trying to remember the lies you told. Because when you tell the truth, there's nothing to remember that's not already in your memory. You just pull it out. You have that superpower. The narcissist, most of them don't have it. If they wanted to be constantly, consistently honest, they just don't have it in them. So use that to keep the narcissist from controlling you. And by the way, I am not interested in controlling narcissists. I got better things to do with my life than to waste my time with these people. And don't necessarily want to stay away from them unless they are overbearing and trying to control me. But yeah, that's the objective, is to keep the narcissist from controlling me. And if they're not doing that, I can hang around them. I don't care. Number two, we have the superpower of listening. And when I say listening, I mean listening for details. Have you ever been around a narcissist who wasn't talking all the time? They have to control the conversation. What they have to say matters. What they think and their expressing their thoughts, that is so important. What you have to say, well, it's something stupid anyhow, right? This is what the narcissist thinks. So the narcissist does not listen. The narcissist is all talk. The narcissist does not listen. Now, that's not to say they don't pick up on things. Absolutely they do. They will try to get you to talk so that you will say things that they can use against you later. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about conventionally, traditionally. In a conventional setting, what they're doing is they want to control things by talking. Sometimes they ask you questions to get you to reveal personal things about yourself, or maybe something that you don't like about somebody else, so they can use that against you. But they are just so overconfident that they don't listen. They only listen to very specific things. And again, those specific things tend to be things that they can use against you. And even when they're not listening or trying not to listen, they still sometimes they have to. And they'll pick up these things. But the one thing that you have, the superpower that you have over the narcissist, is you can listen for details. Those tells in the details that give away the narcissist. Now, people who play poker, I think I played poker once just to learn how to do it. And I learned that I wasn't good at playing poker. So that was the last time I played. What do they call that? Something Texas, I forget. But they have this thing where poker players are looking for tells. You've heard that before. Some facial expression, some twitch of the fingers, some small movement that will tell them what is in your hand. And we can watch other people and we pick up on those tells. Narcissists, they can pick up. If you are vulnerable, if you are gullible, if you are empathetic, they can pick up on that. But beyond that, I mean, that's it. And they think they're super because they can do that. But if we are listening and looking, we can pick up on those details of narcissists. The problem is, a lot of times, because we tend to be empathetic, we're not looking. It's not that we can't pick up those details, but we're not looking for them. And that is, by the way, number 3 is empathy. You have it. They don't have it. Now, when we talk about empathy, we're talking about effective empathy where we really, truly, genuinely care about other people, which is what made the narcissist attractive to us or us attractive to them, whatever. So they have this craving appetite to control people. And so they look for people, obviously, they can control. And those of us who have a strong sense of empathy are typically vulnerable. So all they have to do is play the wounded soldier, and oh, poor guy, and we come to his help. Or they will have something else, what some people call the loser's limp. They will limp along like, they've got an excuse for not working, so they're going to pretend to limp. Call it loser's limp. And we fall for it. So we try to help them and support them. We're empathetic. Well, that is a strength that we have that they don't have, but they know how to manipulate it to their advantage. But how do we then use empathy as a superpower that destroys the narcissist? Well, as we listen for details and we pick up on the narcissism of the narcissist, what happens is we understand this person is a victimizer. And where there is a victimizer, an abuser, there are victims. And our empathy goes out to those people that the narcissist has hurt. And I know some narcissists that I've worked with, that I've known and befriended, I would watch as they would hurt other people just for the joy, the fun of it, just for the joy of watching them hurt. And you pick up on that, and your empathy goes out to those people. The narcissists, they have no empathy for those people, and for you, they have none. So that is a vulnerability that we have, but it's also a superpower, because it is one of the ways that we can see those details that we talked about, number 2. It is one of the insights that we have that allows us to pick up on their narcissistic tendencies. We can see them being unempathetic and abusive to other people, and our empathy goes out to those other people. And that takes us to number 4. Beyond that, those manipulations. Number 4 is we have the superpower of detecting manipulations. Now, a narcissist may sense or have a false sense of manipulations, but that is because they are seeing themselves in you and other people. They're projecting on you. They're assuming you think the way they think. And how do they think? Well, they're always manipulating people. They're looking for inroads. They're looking for some way they can manipulate and control other people. And they just assume, theory of mind, they just assume that we all do the same thing. It's the way they think. So they assume that you are manipulating them or trying to. And they're false flags. I mean, lots of them. So they get it wrong a lot of times. And if they do get it right, it's purely by accident. You're not trying to manipulate the person, but he assumes or she assumes that you are. So think about the narcissist. Think of somebody in your mind right now who has been abusive toward you. And stop and think how they tried to manipulate you. And they were pretty good at it. But how they thought you were trying to manipulate them. Can you think of some past experiences where you have observed that in people that you know and learned too late they were narcissists? And have you noticed that you were eventually able to detect the manipulative strategies that the narcissist was using? I mean, at the very beginning, when they were love bombing, and I call it love bonding, when they were bonding with you through love or friendship, fake love, fake friendship, and they were good at hiding those manipulations, but it was, it wasn't very, or I should say it was very thin. And it wasn't long before it wore thin and became sheer, and you could see right through it. You could see how manipulative they were. We can do that. We have that superpower. We can detect, maybe not at the beginning, but we can detect the manipulations. The narcissist, on the other hand, sees manipulations everywhere, false flags all the time. So we have that superpower. We have that advantage over the narcissist. Now, let's tie all this together. Our superpowers are honesty, the ability to listen specifically for details, the superpower of empathy, and the superpower of genuinely being able to detect manipulation. How are we able to do that? It is because eventually, when the narcissist becomes obvious, or the narcissism becomes obvious, we have this solid sense of personal identity. I am who I am. I know what my name is. I know what my gender is. I know what my religion is. I know what my nationality is. I know what my age is. I know what did I say religion? I don't know if I said that or not. There's all kinds of things about me that I can tell you what my weight is, but I'm not going to. All of these things about me combined are my identity. And I have a solid sense of that. And that makes me and you almost impenetrable to narcissists or to cults. And the narcissist basically is a one-person cult. But that sense of identity allows us to be honest, because we don't question who we are. We don't have to be dishonest. That sense of identity allows us to listen for details because we have the confidence that we can do that. That sense of identity is a part of our empathy. We care for others because we know, as an individual, as a self-aware individual, what it feels like to go through struggles. So we have empathy. The narcissist does not have that sense of identity. He or she doesn't know who they are. In fact, they're trying to become you. That's another video, but they're trying to become you. We have the strong sense of identity, of genuineness, of reality of who we are, and that allows us to detect the manipulations of others, particularly narcissists. But as I said before, maybe not at the beginning, because empathy, that's a two-edged sword. It can be to our advantage as a superpower, or it can be as a disadvantage at the onset to make us a little bit too much gullible. But we eventually can see through them. So we tie all this together by acknowledging and realizing that because we know who we are, when the narcissist tries to gaslight us, tries to push us off our center, with some success, by the way. We know where our center is, and so we know we've been pushed off center, and we feel uncomfortable. And so when they try to gaslight us, we know, hey, this is not right. I need to get back. This is dishonest. I need to get back to center. These details, no, they're not right. I need to get back to center. I have empathy, and this is not a good thing. So we need to get back to center. It's all about identity. It's all about being centered, of knowing who we are. And again, impenetrable. The narcissist just can't get to us when we have these superpowers that will obliterate, destroy just about any narcissist. If you got something out of this video, we invite you to join our family by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment if you got something to say. You probably can think of several other things that I missed, that I overlooked. And if you would share this on social media, that would be such a big help. And we will see you all next time.